Who was Mr. Krabs before the first episode? Why does Mr. Krabs love money like it was his son? Who is Bill's mother? And what is the Krabby Patty secret formula? Are the questions I'll be answering in this new theory. Get ready, because this is the Mr. Krabs theory. Mr. Krabs is this crustaceous cheapskate that owns the Krusty Krab, the finest eating establishment ever established for eating.
Finest eating establishment ever established for eating. The Krusty Krab.
Which is one of the restaurants with the best food in Bikini Garden and Gardens, the best secret in the show. The Krabby Patty secret formula. Mr. Krabs also used to be in the Navy, which is referenced many times in the show, and has an interesting story to tell. We can all agree that he would do anything for money. He even sold his beloved money-making fry cook Spongebob for 62 cents.
If you had to choose between SpongeBob and all the money I have in my pocket, which would you take?
That depends. How much money are we talking about?
Mr. Krabs!
62 cents.
I'll take the money.
Mr. Krabs!
Here you go, Krabs. 62 cents. Next up, Davy Jones' locker.
And sold his soul to be able to talk to money.
Yeah, my immortal soul. I've heard that speech before.
What? Well, great. But be warned.
Yeah, skip the lecture. I want what's coming to me.
You're no fun at all, you know that.
Hey, is that pixie dust? Oh, that was a strange dream.
You think that was a strange dream? I dreamt I was trapped in a prison made of peanut butter.
Who said that?
Down here.
Hey, it's a nickel. What were you doing in my belly button, little fella?
I got stuck in there during your last coin shower. I don't want to talk about it.
But where does this obsession for money come? And most importantly, what even is the Krabby Patty secret formula made of? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Levitt Theories, and come with me to find out Mr. Krabs' darkest secret. So let's start off when we saw Mr. Krabs the youngest. Season 5, Episode 1A, Friend or Foe. We see Mr. Krabs as a baby. Okay, too far off. Season 3, Episode 10B, the Krusty Krab training video. We see Mr. Krabs buying the Krusty Krab, which is probably going to be very important for later. And we also see a clip of Mr. Krabs when he was probably like 7 or 8, buy from a vending machine, but getting a coin out with a string.
You may think Mr. Eugene H. Krabs, owner and founder of Krusty Krab, Inc., has always been the financial wizard he is today. And you're right.
We also get a lot of references of Mr. Krabs loving money since he was little. Like for example in Season 3, Episode 2B, My Pretty Seahorse, where he states that he was 5 years old and his father gave him $1 and it was his best friend. But on a hot sunny day at the beach, he spent it on a soda.
I was 5 years old, and me father gave me $1. I loved that dollar. Loved it like a brother. Me and that dollar went everywhere together.
What happened to the dollar, Mr. Krabs?
And one day, at the beach, it was so hot, and I was so thirsty. I spent it on a soda. My best friend.
So I guess he's being cheap since he was very young. But why? Some of you may think it's not a big deal, but if we go back to Friend or Foe, we can see Mr. Krabs being broke and getting introduced to money.
It's the most beautiful thing me eyes have ever seen.
What is it?
It's money.
Money!
Yeah, you can buy things with it.
Buy things?
So, I spent it on a gift for me best pal, Plankton.
And he loved it. He loved it so much that he spent it on a balloon for Plankton. And that's the tragic backstory of Mr. Krabs. So if you're familiar with the show, you probably know that Mr. Krabs has a big relationship with the Navy. Damn, he even worked for it. But not just in one boat, in two. He cleaned bathrooms in the SS Gourmet, which we don't know much about, except I believe that season 5, episode 11B, Le Big Switch, where SpongeBob works in a ship-shaped gourmet restaurant. But it's probably not that, it's just my speculation. And Mr. Krabs also worked as the head chef in the SS Diarrhea, which we know a bit more about. In season 9, episode 14B, Pull Up a Barrel, Mr. Krabs tells a story about when he was still working in the SS Diarrhea. And Patrick was the captain. We really don't know anything about that. He also meets Sandy, which we don't know about. But what we do know is that Mr. Krabs cooks awfully, right? He wasn't always like that. He was an excellent chef, but Captain Patrick made him do the worst food imaginable. So that's probably how he lost his cooking abilities.
Off, sir. A little boosey amusey for the boys, sir.
This is the Navy, son! We don't cut the crusts off! We eat the crusts and throw the rest away!
Now get ready to hear me reveal the Krabby Patty secret formula, the best kept secret in the whole lore. So there's a lot of confusion about the secret formula. In episode Friend or Foe, Mr. Krabs and Plankton discover the Krabby Patty secret formula, they make it. But then, in another episode, Mr. Krabs says it's an old family recipe.
Mother knows the Krabby Patty formula?
Don't play stupid with me. Of course she does. It's an old Krabs family recipe.
In fact, sometimes the secret formula is a paper, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a secret sauce, so we know he's giving misleading information about the secret formula. And that is actually a pretty good idea, because that makes it even more a secret. Now let's get straight to the point, the Krabby Patty secret formula. Some people think it's made of crab meat, mostly because Mr. Krabs and her mom is the only characters we see in town, and because the Krusty Krab is built like a crab trap. But there not being any crabs in town can be easily contradicted, because in season 7, episode 6B, Cracked Crabs, we see Mr. Krabs going to a cheapskate convention, and there are a lot of other crabs. And the Crab Trap one was a bit newer, because in season 1, episode 9, Game Night, in the Spongebob spin-off, Camp Coral, we can see Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff and Plankton go into a crab trap and being trapped. And that was long before SpongeBob, the main show. So maybe Krabs built the Krusty Krab in that shape to remind him to never go nearby one ever again. Okay, so editing this, I remembered about an episode where Mr. Krabs shows his older family members which are still alive. So yeah, that could also count as a contradiction about Mr. Krabs and her mom. So now that all that's out of the way, let's start. So Mr. Krabs has a girlfriend called Mrs. Puff, which is also SpongeBob's driving instructor. And Mr. Krabs also has a daughter called Pearl, but Pearl is a whale. So that means that she can't be Mrs. Puff's biological daughter, because Mrs. Puff is a pufferfish. So that begs the question, what are Pearl's real parents? Well, if we go to season 1, episode 15A, Sleepy Time, SpongeBob goes to another Bikini Bottom Mite's dreams, but when he goes to Mr. Krabs' dream, Mr. Krabs is dreaming about being on a boat in a purple sea catching a giant dollar. The thing is, the dollar acts like a whale. And guess what he calls it?
It's the mighty Moby Dollar!
Yes, you heard that correctly. He calls it the Moby Dollar, which, if you don't know, makes direct reference to Moby Dick, which is a story about a man that catches a whale. But that's not all. He even is the whale's father. And in Mr. Krabs' house, there are even various photos of a boat catching a whale. So they might be indirectly telling us that Mr. Krabs killed Pearl's mother. And if that's not enough proof, he even has a harpoon that he catches her with. So Krabby Patties are made of whale meat, which is even illegal to get if that wasn't enough. And that's why he keeps it so secret. Thank you for watching. This was an especially tough one, long one, and dark one. And if you wonder why I haven't been posting in a while, look at my community post. There are other reasons. Well, thank you for watching. Larry out.